And I'm trying to film a couple videos today. This one might be more of a trigger warning is needed, and it is going to talk about the disappearance of two missing girls from Chicago that took place almost 20 years ago now, which is just wild to say that cases like this go unsolved for so long. And I think it's important to note that the case that I'm talking about today is a case that involves two black women, black children. Granted, now they would be grown adults at this time, but the media, it doesn't really cover a lot of these cases, and it is just so sad that these cases go unsolved for even longer than, cases who are of other different ethnicities, like white cases. And I think it's just very important to draw attention to that fact. So today we're going to be talking about the missing case of Tionda and Diamond. So at the time, Tionda was 10 and Diamond was 3. Today, I think that would make them like 23 and 29, or 24 and 30 years old today. So I'll try to insert some pictures of what they would look like when they were children, as well as an aged up version of them. And I'm just going to take a couple seconds of silence for when I go and edit this video, I'll be able to insert. So here's my couple seconds of silence. Okay, so those pictures should be inserted. And this was July 6th of 2001, and they vanished from their apartment near 35th and Cottage Grove in Chicago. And they had actually left a note to their mom saying that they were, I believe, going to the store or something. And this was when she was at work. And keep in mind, this was a time, 2001 was still very much a time where you could leave your children home at work and not have them be watched, especially like a 10-year-old is someone who can, take care of themselves as well as watch other children. It was very common at the time. And keep in mind that some parents, they can't afford to have somebody watch their kids and work at the same time because babysitting and stuff is so expensive, and even at that time probably still was a decent amount. So just keep that in mind. Keep biases kind of like to yourself in this scenario, because it's just very sad. And this case actually sparked a lot of people, just teams, like a lot of search teams just searching everywhere. I mean, like railroad tracks, abandoned buildings, open fields, just anything and everything. And their relationship with their mother was good, according to her. She spent a lot of time with them, and the reason why her daughter was named Tionda is because they had a neighbor and her name was Tionda, and she liked that. So instead, she named her daughter Tionda, and that's how she got her name. And, she was really close with Diamond, and Tionda was in every talent show. She knew how to dance, she knew how to do gymnastics, and she was very much so a girly girl. Keep in mind, they're 3 years old and 10 at this time. And the mom really can't say what she thinks happened that day, because she doesn't know. She does not know what happened. And of course, when somebody disappears, some people have theories, but Faith truly did not have any theories other than it had to be someone that they were familiar with, because Tionda was not going to open the door for strangers, which makes sense. There's no kid that I know. If there is a kid, like, you should definitely retrain your kids on this, but there's no kid that I know that would willingly open the door for a stranger. And so she said it has to be someone that they were familiar with, which makes it a very even more difficult case, because it's something that is so sad, and the fact that people can kidnap other kids and be very close. And like, I always encourage women, like, these are children, but I encourage women, or if you feel comfortable with your kid, like, walking home from school, don't have them take the same route every day, because that just gives them a chance to where, you know, somebody could be stalking them daily, and all of a sudden, just one day, you know, make a move. And that's so scary. Like, teach your kids, have them enrolled in self-defense, and teach them, you know, to take alternate routes, and the signs if somebody is following them, and so on and so forth, because it is so, so important. So, their sister, oh, sorry, this is, the aunt's name is Faith, by the way. That's not their mom's name. So sorry that I've been referring to her as the mom. That is the aunt. Sorry for the confusion. I just reread my notes and was just like, oh, okay. So, sorry for that little bit of confusion. Faith is their aunt, not their mom. Hope that clears it up. So, not Faith, the girl's mom, had actually found a note the day that they disappeared. Said that the girls were going to school and they were going to a nearby store. And Faith says that the letter was in Tionda's penmanship, but she thinks that somebody coached her into writing the letter. And she always wrote letters because she loved writing. But when she wrote letters or certain words, she wouldn't spell them correctly, as any 10-year-old kid would do. So she very much thinks that somebody coached her into writing that letter, and maybe these kids were being held hostage and forced to write that note to them. And she does not think that Tionda ever left the house on her own, because Tionda was not a kid that would, like, regularly leave the house. And she said Faith said both kids would not just ever just walk out. And Diamond was 3 at the time, so of course she's going to follow her sister anywhere that she goes. That's all that she knows. And they were really close. They always were there to support each other. This family has, you know, tried so hard. I mean, this article that I'm getting my information based off of was dated, I think, in like 2020, which was last year, and they have tried so hard to keep the media coverage going and so on and so forth. And I just think it's so sad that when cases go unsolved for so long, and there's really no telling of what really happened that day. We may never know. It could be solved in a couple of years. It could be solved never. And just the lingering thought of, if those girls were kidnapped by somebody they knew and killed, is just devastating, because they won't ever get to go to college, and they won't ever get to experience their first boyfriend, get married, and so on and so forth. So when you take away somebody's childhood, basically, it's just so devastating. And I will leave it with this: if you have any tidbits any tips or anything, if you think that you might have saw these girls that would now be women, like I said, I'll insert pictures at the very end as well as through the when I said that I would. Please, please look at the if you have any information, you need to dial 1-800 the lost. And any tip is better than no tip, because I don't know how many tips that this case has got. It doesn't sound like a lot. And I hope for a happy ending, I just hope for a happy ending, and that somewhere out there that they are out there and they're safe, and are able to tell their stories one day, or just heal from whatever may have occurred that day. And so please, if you have any information, dial 1-800 the lost. It is 1-800-843-5678. And that is all. Thank you for watching.